and put it in the ashtray. It's still there today. The trouble is, you see, there's always an argument to both sides of these things. If Britain and their allies had not fought against Adolf Hitler during the Second World War, these people would not be here today. We'd all like to live in peace, but peace also has to be protected. We will be making a stop, ladies and gentlemen. Once we've come up to St Stephen's Tower, we'll be turning right, and at the end of the House of Parliament will be our next stop. Is that alright? Acceptable? Oh, good. Well, we've got lots of statues here in Parliament Square. The one on our right hand side is a South African Prime Minister. We've already got one, Nelson Mandela. This one, a wonderful man, young Christian Smuts. He was our enemy during the Boer War, but a great friend to this country during the First and Second World Wars. The next one ahead of us on the right is a great Prime Minister during the First World War, Prime Minister of this country, David Lloyd George, a Welshman. And right at the end on the right hand side, probably the greatest of them all. The reason I say that is because recently a national opinion poll was taken as who was the greatest Briton of all time. And the majority of the people came up with Sir Winston Churchill. And so we have Sir Winston Churchill's statue right at the end on the right hand side, in his naval greatcoat, looking towards the Houses of Parliament where he served so magnificently. Towards the end of his life, Winston Churchill was asked this question: what was the greatest achievement of your life? Thank you very much. Well, he'd been through 2 world wars, he'd been through the Boer War, been Prime Minister twice. He said, the greatest achievement of my life was to convince my wife Clementine to accept my proposal of marriage. And they were married in the church to our right with the blue sundial clock. That is the parish church of the House of Commons. They were married there this September. It would have been 102 years ago. One day the Churchills were at a dinner party and a question came up: who would you like to be if you could be somebody other than you are today? When it came to Winston Churchill's turn, he looked to his wife Clementine and said, I would like to be the second husband of my wife Clementine. They were still writing love letters to each other right until their late years. Okay. Well, the tree, which is to the left of this soldier's come home alive, there's a dragon in the tree. Now, dragons shouldn't really climb trees because they can get stuck up there. This one's been up there for quite a long time now. No one seemed to rescue them, so we expect him to be up there quite a long time yet to come. To our left-hand side, the Treasury. And on the top of the building, sometimes during the Second World War, Winston Churchill would stand up there with his tin helmet on while the bombs were falling around him, much to the consternation of his commanding officers. At the end of the war, somebody said to him, you were the British Bulldog, weren't you? He said, no. Our people were the Bulldog, our allies were the Bulldog, I just supplied the roar. And he certainly did. In fact, if you look at the telephone box just halfway down the bus on your left, there's a little brown door to the right of the telephone box. And that's where Winston Churchill used to go down to the Cabinet War Rooms during the Second World War. Of course, it's been blocked up a bit more since that time. Oh yeah, they're all bombs. Most of these bombers were hit with bombs. Yes. Including Buckingham Palace. Yeah, put back more or less to the original. Now you can hear the Westminster chimes, they've just finished. Now Big Ben is about to strike 12. When that strikes, it's dead on 12 o'clock, if you want to check your watches. It'll be heard all over the world. That's it, first strike, 12 o'clock. It's a little bit slow today, looking at my watch. And next up will be for the Houses of Parliament in this area around here. The building ahead of us to the right, you see the Norman Hall there, the smooth stone. That goes back to the 1100s, that part of the building. It's where our kings and queens kept their courts of law, right up until the 1800s. It is the oldest and longest Norman Hall anywhere in Europe. Absolutely beautiful inside, the woodwork. It's quite amazing. There's a statue halfway down, as you can see, on the left with a man with a sword in his hand and a book in his hand. Well, the book is the Bible. This is not a king, it is Oliver Cromwell, who was Lord Protector of this country for 5 years of the 11 years when we had a republic. And he was instrumental in having the head of King Charles I chopped off. It's quite interesting that they're still looking at each other after these years, because if you look to your right, as we pass the church, you see a small door to our right. Above it, you can see a head. Well, that is the head of King Charles I. Still looking at Oliver Cromwell after all these years. To our left now, behind the horse and rider, King Richard I. This is the House of Commons, where the MPs, the members of Parliament, the commoners, they operate there. So does the Prime Minister. That's where all that section happens. Now, the little arched doorway we can see on the left. To the right of the arched doorway, that is the House of Lords, or the Lords. The Earls, the Barons, the Dukes, the Viscounts, Marquises, and the Bishops operate here. Through the arched doorway on the left, this is where Her Majesty the Queen goes in when she's giving her speech to Parliament, or when she's giving her talk after the summer recess, after the parliamentarians come back from their holidays every November. So this is our stop, if anyone's getting on for this area here. How's the Parliament? Coming down for this, Mo, thank you, coming down for this. Thank you, bye-bye now. Bye-bye, thank you. Come back here to pick up the bus, they come every 10 to 15 minutes. There's one a few. The boat's cruise, what a lovely day to take a trip up the river on the boat. If they hand you a 17-foot oar, wait for the next boat, it means the engine's a bit dodgy. No, they're really nice boats. City cruises, they take you all the way up to Greenwich. And if you walk up the steep hill at Greenwich, you can see the 0-degree longitude line through the centre of the planet at the Greenwich Observatory, the old observatory. Spectacular views from up there. So you can stand with one foot in the eastern hemisphere and the other foot in the western hemisphere, like a colossus across the planet. But if you look ahead to your right, you see a building with lots of black bollards around the outside on the ground floor level. This is MI5, Military Intelligence 5. This is where our internal security takes place. This is not James Bond country, James Bond is MI6. If you look to your right, that's not BP, drilling for oil by the way, in case you're wondering. The next bridge on our right, just to the left, you see the trees, and the cream and green building behind it going up in steps, that is MI6. Espionage and counter-espionage. You may remember the film The World Is Not Enough, where James Bond comes out in that speedboat and chases that nasty lady all the way down the River Thames. A wonderful boat chase, fabulous views of London. If you look over your left shoulder, ladies and gentlemen, what a lovely view of the Houses of Parliament, the mother of all parliaments. She's given birth to so many democracies throughout the world. She's still known by her favourite title, the Palace of Westminster. This is our stop for the Imperial War Museum, if anyone's getting off for the Imperial War Museum. No one coming down for this, Mo, thank you. On the right-hand side, this building here with the Tudor chimneys on the top is 800 years old. This is the Lambeth Palace. The Lambeth Palace is the London home of the Archbishop of Canterbury. The Archbishop of Canterbury is the primate of all England.